This is the Ramana Maharshi Satsang. I'm reading and commenting on the Ashtavakra Gita. Listen, reflect, and deeply meditate. Know yourself. Welcome. I'm Richard Clarke. I'm not a guru or a teacher. Ramana's teachings of non-duality is deep and profound, and I want to share it. I'm reading from and commenting on the Ashtavakra Gita, an important text of Advaita. Today, chapter 18, verses 45 through 48. And Ashtavakra in this chapter is talking about the peace of a sage. Timid men fear sensory experience much as they do tigers. They seek refuge in caves and try to unthink the world. Sensory experiences are like elephants who, upon encountering a desireless man, see him as a lion. They immediately turn on their heels, or if unable to escape, stay on to flatter and serve him. A man with no doubts, who knows only self, has no need of practice or liberation. Seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, he lives as he is happily. One whose mind is empty and unconflicted by the mere hearing of truth sees nothing to do, nothing to avoid, nothing to warrant his indifference. So now let's go through the verses and uh, talk about them more. 1845. Timid men fear sensory experience much as they do tigers. They seek refuge in caves and try to unthink the world. This verse shows how fear can distort spiritual effort. Some people become so afraid of the senses that they retreat from life, thinking avoidance will bring them peace. But fear itself is a form of attachment. It keeps attention bound to what is feared. Real freedom doesn't come from hiding. It comes when you know yourself as untouched by the senses. When you see yourself as the self, you don't need to fight or flee from anything. Trying to erase experience or shut down thought only strengthens the illusion of separation and strengthens the idea of the one who thinks they are separated. This verse is a mirror. It shows you how fear can masquerade as spirituality. If you're trying to shut out the senses, it means you're still caught in the belief that they have power over you. But the self, the truth of who you are, is never touched by sensations. Hiding in a cave, either literally or mentally, won't free you. Real peace comes from withdrawal, or real peace, doesn't come from withdrawal. It comes from clarity. When you realize you are not the one who sees, hears, thinks, or feels, but the awareness behind it all, then you know that even the wildest sensory storm leaves you untouched. This verse calls you to stop fighting experience and begin seeing through it. 1846. Sensory experiences are like elephants who, upon encountering a desireless man, see him as a lion. They immediately turn on their heels, or, if unable to escape, stay on to flatter and serve him. This verse offers a striking image. When desire is gone, the senses lose their power. The man free of wanting is like a lion, powerful, silent, unshaken. Senses, like wild elephants, either leave or become calm in his presence. Desire fuels restlessness. Without it, experiences can't dominate. This doesn't mean rejecting the senses. It means no longer being ruled by them. The moment you are established in yourself, even intense sensations become quiet. They stop being threats and start reflecting the stillness within. We see this, Ramana exemplifying this when he was dealing with his cancer. Ashtavakra shows you what happens when desire drops away. You're not told to force yourself to become desireless. You're being shown what already is when you're not identified with cravings. The senses lose their grip when there's nothing in you reaching for them. You become like a lion, silent, unmoved, and still. The elephants of sensory attraction no longer try to trample you. In fact, they become harmless. This verse doesn't shame the senses. It shows how they naturally quiet down in the presence of one who knows the self. When you rest in that knowledge, your relationship to experience transforms. Pleasure and pain stop being threats and instead move around you like soft waves. A man with no doubts, who knows only the self, has no need of practice or liberation. Seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating. He lives as he is, happily. This verse shows the natural ease of one who is awake to the self, freed by his self-knowledge. When doubt is gone, there is no need for effort or ritual. The person doesn't seek liberation. They are already free. Life becomes simple. Every sense activity happens, but there's no struggle, no identity built around it. The self doesn't need fixing, doesn't need anything else. You don't need to earn your freedom. You only need to see what has always been true. The more you rest in this awareness, the more you live with ease, even in the middle of daily life. This verse frees you from the spiritual treadmill. So often people treat awakening as a goal to reach after long effort. But here you're reminded that when you know the self directly, you no longer need to practice as if you're not already home. You don't need more rituals, more purification, or a better mood. You just live, eating, walking, seeing. All of it happens in peace when you're not confused about who you are. There's nothing missing and no perfection to chase. There is no problem to solve. This verse gives you permission to stop struggling and start trusting the truth of your own existence. 1848. One whose mind is emptied and unconflicted by the mere hearing of truth sees nothing to do, nothing to avoid, nothing to warrant his indifference. This verse describes the shift that happens when truth is deeply heard, not just mentally grasped, but experienced so clearly that the mind drops its grasping. This is when it is not just an idea, but direct self-knowledge. There's no more sense of effort or resistance. You don't need to chase anything, avoid anything, or pretend you don't care. Everything becomes equal in the light of self-awareness. The mind stops trying to improve or escape. There's nothing to fix, nothing to resist, and no need to withdraw. You remain steady in that quiet recognition. Ashtavakra describes the quiet freedom that can come instantly, not through years of effort, but through clear seeing, through self-knowledge. When truth is heard and truly known, it ends inner conflict. You're no longer divided between doing and not doing, between caring and not caring, between different ideas. There's no more confusion about what's worth your energy. It's not about becoming passive, it's about becoming whole. The mind no longer runs in circles. The need to fix yourself or others fades. there's a deep ease in knowing that nothing has to change for you to be free. Ashtavakra invites you to let the simplicity of truth quiet the noise of spiritual and worldly striving. This verse invites you to stop fearing experience and start recognizing yourself as free. When you no longer grasp or resist, peace becomes natural, not as something to attain, but as something already present in your own being. And now a video, a satsang discourse by Nome, the self of all.
We're not hearing anything.
Okay, excuse me. Excuse me while I mess with it some more.
This. The existence of all is the existence of the self, your existence. The consciousness that knows the minds and experiences of all is your consciousness. The happiness of all beings, of all kinds, is the bliss of the self, the innate joy. Do you realize this? Obscuration of this truth is due only to ignorance, which is constituted of imagined limitation, superimposed upon the self. Without such imagined or superimposed limitation, your nature is found to be infinite and eternal, without boundary, without division, undifferentiated, and self-luminous. Bodiless, your own existence is the existence of all. It is birthless and deathless, partless and limitless. Thought transcendent, your consciousness is undivided, not multiple, but non-dual, of a nature that is infinite and eternal. In every joy that is experienced anywhere and at any time, it is the happiness of the self that is shining forth. It is unconditioned, partless, uncaused, and actually indestructible. Clear away the delusive limiting adjuncts, the misidentifications, by profound inquiry to know who you are. It is a matter of steady knowledge. Sense transcendent, mind transcendent, steady knowledge. For knowledge to be steady, all that is necessary is that ignorance become totally unsteady. That is, with the destruction of ignorance, knowledge shines forth of itself quite naturally. For steady knowledge of the self, examine finely and in depth what you identify yourself with. If you misidentify yourself as a body, how will your happiness be steady? Your peace will be disturbed. If you misidentify as a mind, how will your knowledge be steady? If you misidentify as an ego, that is, as an individual, how will abidance as real being be steady? Free of such misidentification, steadiness is natural. For what would cause existence to cease to exist? Abide in the steady knowledge of the Satchidananda being consciousness bliss. That is you, that is yours. Abide in the steady knowledge by liberating yourself from misidentification and by detachment toward unreal things. Your existence is the existence of all. Your consciousness is the only knower in all. Your bliss is the happiness of all. Your self is the self of all. Know this to be the truth. Inquire, who am I?
All right. And now we'll take a few minutes and inquire ourselves. You exist. You exist, and you know that you exist. Investigate within yourself. Inquire. Can I stay present with experience without identifying with it? Can I see experience without making it my experience? How does the absence of craving change how I experience the senses? Can I rest in the awareness that nothing is missing from myself? What in me is still trying to do, avoid, or remain indifferent? Who am I? What am I? What exists? All right. And we'll close with our chant. Om.
Shanti.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.
Om.
Peace,
Peace.
peace,
Peace.
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 I'm really enjoying the self-examination when we inquire.
Mm. Mm. Nothing as valuable as self-attention.
Yes, yes. And it's kind of funny how much I get from them because I write the question to begin with, but writing them is not the same as meditating on them, inquiring into them.
Right? Like no matter how much you read or listen to, it could point the way, but it's not going to help as much as self-investigation.
Uh-huh.
You and Bruce look like you're each on one side of the hill.
That's right. Well, he's over by the lake. I'm not.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for coming together today.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
namaste. We'll see you
Namaste.
next
Thank
week.
you. Thank you.
And have good inquiry.
Thank you.